Welcome to the Afromind podcast with myself, Stephen Goldstein, and my co-host, Mark Randall. The Afromind podcast seeks to illuminate and explore how traders succeed in financial markets by understanding the mindset, behavior, and psychology that underlies great risk-taking performance. Our guest today is Brian Pezim. Brian is a retail trader and mentor at the Bear Bull Traders community and author of the book How to Swing Trade, a beginner's guide to trading tools, money management, rules, routines, and strategies of a swing trader. In this interview, Brian talks about his journey into trading after starting out as an engineer. Brian's first trade was in 1967, so he has a long and deep history and understanding of the financial markets behind him. Today, Brian discusses swing trading as an alternative to other trading approaches. He shares insights about his own strategies and explores some of the psychological challenges he faces in his work and which he sees in others. This episode was recorded at the end of April. That's about 5 weeks ago. The stock market today is at least 10% higher than it was back then. So that might add some useful context to some of the discussion later on in the interview. Before we start, we would like to thank our sponsor partner, the Society of Technical Analysts, the STA. The STA are one of the world's leading organisations for the advancement of technical analysis and the study of price action. Membership of the STA opens up a world of amazing educational programs, accredited diplomas, and provides access to talks, seminars, webinars, and regular newsletters and publications. You can apply to become a member of the STA by visiting their website, sta-uk.org. Their membership is open globally, not just for UK members. Also, if you are keen to learn about and improve your technical analysis skills, the STA provides an outstanding home study course written by some of the leading figures in the world of technical analysis. I would highly recommend this program, which has been put together based on decades of experience and know-how by experts who have been at the coalface of financial markets. Finally, before we start the podcast, why don't you check out the Afromind Trader Performance Coaching Program? The program focuses on helping people develop and improve the key risk skills and psychological factors which contribute to trading performance mastery and helps people unleash the potential they have within them. This program makes use of our unique and powerful human alpha performance model, which helps illuminate the human aspects of the risk process and in turn allows people to make specific changes and adjustments in a process facilitated by the coach, which drives growth in risk capability and personal performance. This program has been delivered to people at many of the world's leading trading firms, including Bank of America Merrill Lynch, TD Securities, Balyasny Asset Management, Credit Suisse, National Australia Bank, Societe Generale, Danske Bank, SEB, Swedbank, Cargill's, Gazprom, Millennium Investments, Norges Bank Investment Management, Schroders Investment Management, Janus Henderson, Capula Investment Management, Caxton Associates, and many other leading firms. To know about the program, go to the Afromind blog where the link at the top of the page provides further details of the coaching program. Alternatively, email info@alpharcubed.com. That's the word alpha, the letter R, and the word cubed.com. Or DM us on Twitter at alphamind101 with your email address. Now on with the podcast.
Well, welcome to the Afromind podcast. We shift again to the beautiful town of Vancouver in Western Canada, where we have Brian Pezim joining us. Brian, an author of How to Swing Trade, an Amazon bestseller, and also very much part of the Bear Bull trading community, where he runs a forum on swing trading. In this world of us in isolation, the fact that Brian is helping to bring the trading community together for his specialist field, I think is an absolute fantastic thing to do. But let's head over to Brian. So, Brian, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that introduction, Mark, and good to meet you both here on video, which seems to be the way of the world these days. We're all meeting on video chats. It's working out great. But happy to be here today. Happy to talk to your audience. And we've been doing a lot at the Bear Bull Trading room and supporting people through this. And of course, even before this, trading is challenging and difficult, as most of your audience probably knows. So we're, we've been there before, and we're still here now, even more. Actually, I think we're even doing more now that we're all kind of stuck in our offices and at home. But I know you wanted me to start out with a little bit of a backstory on my experience. So I started in the stock market. I started trading in my first stock I bought was 1967. So I guess I'm dating myself a little bit here. But my father got me into stock trading. So he was he was an engineer, but he'd come home at night and he'd have the newspaper and he'd spread it out on the table, and he'd be checking his the prices on the different stocks he owned. And it was kind of, when you think of it then, it was kind of humorous because the prices that you were looking at were actually about 24 hours old. They were printed, they were basically the day before the closing, and the range of each stock was printed the day before. So by the time you got that information, if you weren't on the landline with your broker, you were working with old information. So that got me interested. And I told him one day I wanted to buy some stock, and he bought me one share of this company called Bell Telephone, which was a telephone company that named after Alexander Bell, of course. And I still have that one share today. Actually, it's about 35 shares now with all the dividend reinvestments. So you can probably say that is definitely my longest hold. So you can do the math on that. 1967. I don't even know if I want to, but yeah. So I still have those shares. They'll probably go to the grave with me, is what I'm guessing. I don't know I'm not really sure I'd ever want to sell them. So, so I've been trading pretty much through my entire, since that point, kind of went quiet for a while there and just held on to those shares. But then as I got out in the working, doing work, and I have a engineering degree and an MBA, so I kind of focused in that area. But I ended up meeting up with some brokers in Vancouver. Vancouver was a real hotbed for junior mining stocks and junior company IPOs. So I met a few people along the way that were brokers that were involved in doing IPOs and secondary offerings. So I got involved in some of those over my initial career, I guess, in trading, and successful. Had some good success in that, and so it just kept rolling from there. The .com era day traded through that, made a lot of money, and then lost it all. But I survived. A few people didn't. There are a few people you heard of. People losing everything. Some tragic stories. Fortunately, like I said, I got out pretty much flat, which was disappointing because I was up quite a bit at one point. But during that whole period, learned a lot of valuable lessons, and and a lot of them oriented to what you guys are focused on, which is the psychology of trading and what makes people tick and what makes people do what they do. So. And that's and coming full circle here to where we are today. Andrew and I were working in a clean technology company. Actually, had nothing to do with trading stocks, and I would come into the office. He'd be doing different work related to engineering stuff and what he was hired for. And I was doing business development with this company, but I also would have my laptop open and looking at, different stocks. And he would obviously come in and look over my shoulder and kind of ask me what I was doing. And he got quite interested in trading stocks. And, it was a bit of a learning curve for him. He made some mistakes. He tried to copy some of my trades, and he'd tell me, "Oh, I bought that thing and I lost money." And I said, "Well, I bought it and I already sold it." He said, "Oh, geez." So anyway, but Andrew's a really smart guy, and he pretty quickly figured it out, and he's probably I would say he's as good or better a trader than I am. He certainly has a quick mind. And it's been a lot of fun working with him and building this the Bearable trading community. So, And that's pretty much where we are today. Andrew did a lot of work to build this thing, and he asked me to be part of it, and I was really happy because I've always enjoyed teaching, and I've always enjoyed sharing my knowledge, and that's kind of where we are today. We're a community where we're trying to share knowledge, and not just our own, but bringing other people in as well to share their experiences and their knowledge as well, because we don't have all the answers, obviously. Nobody does, but by bringing in lots of different people, we're able to help our community grow, and try to get these people in our community all to become independent traders, as opposed to people that are just going to a chat room and trying to copy someone else's trade. That's kind of our philosophy.
Fantastic. And I mean, gosh, so many questions I could ask you after that introduction. I mean, sort of possibly trying to explain to people what it's like not knowing the stock price till the close the next day.
Yeah.
To people who have everything at their instant fingertips. That's one area that's interesting. But I'm really curious. You've just written a book about swing trading.
Yeah.
Maybe you could just tell the audience a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I published that. It was probably about a year ago now. It's been out. Swing trading. The term swing trading. It's not as a term that is as well known as day trading. Obviously, swing trading is more of a. It's a segment of trading between day trading, when you're just basically buying and selling and going into cash at the end of the day. Compared to, say, like a Warren Buffett, who would buy and hold something for a very long time. Swing trading is just taking advantage of short-term trends in the market, overreactions that span either just an overnight trade to a something that could last weeks and even longer. If you're following it and you're in a good trend, you tend to partial and keep going. But so swing trading is just a more active style of trading, but holding for longer periods of time than just a day trade. And so Andrew wrote a book about day trading, obviously, and but he was getting asked by a lot of people about a swing trading book, and that's basically where he said he just said, why don't you do a lot of swing trading? Why don't you're better qualified to write the book? So that's how it started, and it was about a year in the making. And just trying to share what I do and what I know about trading and what I've learned over the years.
Okay, and how would you? I mean, if someone came to you and sort of asked you, I'm thinking of getting into trading. Should I go into day trading? Should I go into swing trading? Should I be a trend trader? How would you? Again, you talk about time frame. Obviously, day trading often is akin to scalping or trying to catch small moves throughout the day. But how would you kind of, I suppose, sort of inform them and direct them in that sense?
Yeah, that's a good question, and I had talked about that in my book. I said, there are people, everybody's different. Everyone has different personalities. Everybody's on a different schedule. Everybody has different responsibilities. And one of the things that I say in my book is that day trading may not be for everybody. You certainly have to have a very specific personality for day trading. You've got to be able to make decisions quickly. And when I talk about quickly, we're saying, within a couple seconds, you've really got to make a decision where a setup is worth buying. I mean, it can be that fast. Swing trading, some of the things that swing trading offers people that maybe if they don't feel they're suited or they don't feel comfortable making snap decisions, swing trading allows you to better think out trades. You have more time to figure out, okay, where is my stop going to be? What's my risk? What is my potential reward? Let's look at target exits on the prices. So you've got a lot more time to go through that whole process and make that decision. And the other thing about day trading is it really depends, when you want to day trade. If you're on the West Coast like we are, I was day trading. I would get up at 5:30, 6 in the morning. I would day trade for a half an hour, and then I would get ready and go to work. Now, if you're on the East Coast and the open market's opening at 9:30, and you're expected to be on the shop floor or a desk somewhere, doing your other job, if you want to call it that, it's day trading probably isn't a good option as well, because you just don't have, you're just not free when the markets are opening and when they're best to trade. So swing trading does offer a number of opportunities. You don't have to be at your desks watching the market open at 9:30 Eastern time, or whatever time it is wherever you are. So there's a couple advantages of swing trading that, and people have written me a number of times just saying, I just don't feel like day trading I just don't feel comfortable making snap decisions, snap trades. I think swing trading is a better option for me.
Yes, it certainly feels, I think, much closer to what I'd call professional trading as such, where if one goes back to the pitch, you'd have the jobbers in the pitch doing the day trading. You can take that back to people in the market, getting out before the close and just, as you say, just going to the either owed money or you owe money type scenarios. But in terms of the process, I mean, I imagine process is pretty important behind having a swing trade philosophy. Is it linked to things like volume weighted average price, or some sort of moving average trigger point to actually start to make you think that this is a sustainable trend that I need to back? Could you tell us a bit about the process and what triggers you into a position?
Yeah, so there's a number of strategies that I use to find swing trades. I think that's what you're getting at here. One of the swing trading isn't like every trading. Swing trading isn't just flip the computer on, spend 10 minutes looking at stuff, and then kind of move on, put your trades in, and move on. It does require work. It does require effort, just like day trading. You've got to keep doing your education, your mental training, if you want to call it that. And swing trading does require a fair amount of research. And so, like I said, there's a couple of different strategies that I use. One of them is doing scans. So you can use websites that are available for free on the internet right now. One of the sites I use is a site called FinViz, FINVIZ. You probably may be aware of it. Some of your audience may know of it. A chart mill is another one that you can use to do scans. And so I look for specific technical patterns when I'm scanning. So if I'm looking for a bottoming pattern, I might be looking for a stock that the price is above the 20-day moving average, but still below the 50 and the 200. And so I'll do a scan and I'll use a couple of other parameters as well. But I'll come up with a list of anywhere. Who knows? It just depends on the market. But you could come up with a list of 20 or 30 stocks out of 7,000 or 8,000, and then I just go down the list of the stocks, and just by putting my mouse pointer over top of the stock, I can see the chart. And the chart gets me interested for further exploration, or it doesn't, or I'm not interested at all. I just move on. And that's one of the things that personally I like is I look for setups in charts. So that's one way to look for opportunities. Another way is I'm active on some of the social media sites where people are talking about stocks. I'm looking for ideas from other traders. I use, for example, I'll use StockTwits. I know StockTwits is full of, StockTwits is full of twits. But I have probably about a list of 30 people that I follow that I consider to be good swing traders as well, and they have actually I find some decent suggestions, and that's not to mean I take every one of their trades. I get ideas from them. Let's just say that. And then I go back and I say, okay, does this trade make sense? Does it look like it's setting up in the way that a stock that I would take a trade in? So all these, you're just basically out on a fishing expedition, just looking for opportunities, and then doing a little bit more of an assessment and deciding whether it's worth trading or not.
Yeah.
So
and when you got risk on, sorry to interrupt. When you got risk on, do you then have a defined profit target and a defined loss as part of that decision-making process?
Yeah. So basically, what I'm looking for is, entry is very important. So I'm looking for a place where I can get a good entry. And again, this is part of the advantage of swing trading, is that you have this time to look and assess. Okay, where are critical support levels? Where are resistance levels? If I was taking this trade, where would I stop out? So you're developing. So your quick scan is, look, can I develop a good trading plan from this chart that I'm seeing right now? Can I get a good risk to reward? And I'm particularly looking for at the very least a 2 times reward for every dollar I'm risking. So yeah, that's one of the critical things when I'm doing the initial scan with the charts. I'm looking to see, taking an entry here, does that make good sense from a risk to reward perspective? So when you're swing trading, you've got this time to do this assessment, whereas with day trading, you've got to really do it quite quickly in a lot of cases. And this opportunity, it gives you an opportunity to step back and really do a critical assessment. So I build if I find something that's interesting, I'll just walk through a process. So I find something's interesting, I'll look at a little bit of more stuff. I kind of look on I might look at some of the fundamental stuff, like what sector are they in? Is that sector is it good, or is it something that traders are rotating out of? Is it is it a hot sector? Let's just call it that, like technology. So I'll look at that. I'll look at how many shares are in the float. I'll look at past performance, and then then I build a trading plan. And quite often, what I do in the Bear Bull trading room is if I do take an entry, quite often I will send out an email saying I've taken an entry, and basically it's a very short little box that just says, this is my entry, this is where I will stop out, and this is my first target, second target. So a pretty clear trading plan laid out for people. I don't do all of them, because some of them are really just on the fly, and sometimes they're at the end of the close of market day. But that's kind of the process that I will go through.
Okay, one question I've got for you, and it's partly because I'm coming from a different world to you. So
yeah.
My world as a trader was mostly around sort of rates and FX. Maybe did dabble a bit in some of the indices as well, but I didn't have this huge world to play from. We had a curve, we had different deliveries along the curve, we had a few currencies that we would compare to other, but it was a very small world, although very deep. This is almost the other way around, and you've got a very wide world, but I suppose probably relatively shallow.
Yes.
So I'm quite curious about that, how you manage that. Do you have multiple positions on? Is there a collective risk assessment going on the whole time? Is there a portfolio approach?
Not really a portfolio approach. I do these scans, and like I said, I like to. One of the other strategies that I use that kind of speaks to that is looking for sectors that are in play. just recently this week, there seemed to be a high level of interest and it's been going on for about a week or two now, maybe a little bit longer, but there's been a level of interest in drone stocks for some reason. So I did a swing trade last night. I picked up on social media that, there was a company called, I don't even know what they're called. The trading symbol was UAVS, but there were a few drone stocks out there. UAVS was one of them. And it was just, everybody was talking about it. Everybody was getting excited about it. So I found a few of them that were getting a lot of interest, and took a swing trade overnight. So I try to find things. I also look for things that people are really the sectors that are hot. Let's just say that. And sometimes they're just little blips. Like I don't know how much legs this drone play has, but you could use an example of one of the more recent ones was all the pot stocks. They were a year or two ago, they were just the rage. I mean, anybody who was opening up a grow up, their valuations are all of a sudden through the roof. So, and those are the kinds of things that I also look for swing trades. So those are ideal for swing trades if you can find sectors that are really in play, that everybody's chasing, and the valuations, nobody cares about valuation. I mean, it was just like the .com era, basically. All you had to do was put a .com, say, well, we're going to go into the internet now, and all of a sudden your valuation was 100 times what it was yesterday. So yeah, so that's one of the things that when I'm trying to if I were to build a portfolio, it would usually be around a hot sector play. And again, like last night, I saw these drone stocks seemed to be, people were getting interested in those. So took a quick scalp, sold out this morning, made a little money. So, and that's kind of what swing trading is,
So it's purely that there's not really a fundamental assessment, although there is some sort of fundamental understanding required, I guess.
Yeah, it's not sort of a fundamental assessment as in, what does the balance sheet look like? What's the cash flow? It is fundamental in a sense that, it's fundamental analysis is always also looking at sectors that are where money is rotating into. It's not so much technical because you're not consulting a chart, but these are one of the things that I really like to, that I've made a lot of money on over the years when you catch these sector plays. One I really missed out on was I missed out on the meatless craze beyond the meat. I didn't get that, and it was a one stock hot sector, and I missed out on that one.
Do you tend to operate like a stock picker where you tend to be buying more than as an opening position rather than selling something? Have you had a bias over the years to tending to be a plan on the long side as a point of entry?
Yeah, I do tend to be oriented more on the long side, and I don't know if that's just been the product of the last 10 years where we came out of the financial crisis, and for the most part everything's been up. I mean, I'm not perfect, and I did get a little bit of this downside, but I really left a lot of money on the table when the market really sold off. I really didn't see that coming, but I don't know, I think a lot of people took a lot of people by surprise.
Before we continue with the podcast, a quick word about our podcast partner, the Society of Technical Analysts, the STA. The STA is an outstanding member-led organisation which promotes high-quality education, training and research on the discipline and practice of technical analysis. Membership of the STA opens up a multitude of educational programs, including an excellent home study course and diploma programs run at some of the world's leading academic institutions. Membership also brings you access to meetings, webinars, and live events with speakers from the world of trading and investment, and informative articles written by some of the leading figures in the world of technical analysis and financial markets, many of which are produced in their regular newsletter. To find out more about the STA, visit their website page, sta-uk.org, or Google Society of Technical Analysts. Now back to the podcast. One of the questions I got that I want to ask you, and it's not really related so much to the book, but it's part of this desire to go deeper. So for our audience to sort of, I ask a lot of people, you don't have to ask it, but what are your challenges? What are your personal challenges that the audience could actually relate to? And I'm quite happy to share mine, but it can be a difficult thing, but this is often what our audience like to hear.
I think that the challenge, even with swing trading, is for me is sticking. Sometimes just sticking with the plan can be a challenge. If you're in a winning position and I check I'm checking my stocks daily and I'm seeing this position in, going my way. And then I have this, I constantly fight this urge to, I should take profits now. I shouldn't wait for it to get, I should at least take some money off the table. And I find that, if I really, I find that that'll happen, I'd say probably more than I would like it to happen. And 9 times out of 10, the stock does get to my target, and then I kind of regret taking profits early. But, that's probably one of the biggest challenges I have, because, if you do have a clear trading plan, and like I said, I do lay out a pretty clear trading plan when I take an entry, I really should stick with it, because, I've made it there for a reason. I wanted to get a certain amount of reward for the risk I'm taking. And that's the whole premise of trading, is letting your winners run. And I know that's the bane of a lot of traders, whether you're day trading or swing trading, is holding your position, holding your winners. It's always, always want to have this urge to cash in.
That's the human battle. This is almost sort of where the real battle is. It's quite easy to find winners. It's quite easy to find potentially good trades that have value. It's a personal battle that I've faced all my life as a trader, and I don't think there's a trader alive who hasn't faced this. It's that battle to almost fight your human urge, whilst also taking the part or building upon, there's a part of you that gets you there in the first place, that is part of your strength. But there's also this element which undermines you. And I think that is the ultimate human battle.
Yeah, for sure. And a lot of our training at BBT is similar to what you guys are doing. We can talk about technical analysis, and this is the trade setup, and this is how you take it. And this is where you should enter, and this is where you should stop out. That's all the mechanics of it. But the real challenge that traders face is the psychology, and and honoring your stops. It's just, as you know human nature. There's, when you don't honor a stop and you think, oh, I'll just let it go a little more, because I think it's going to come back, and it never does. That you can just see your account blowing up if you're not managing your mental state. Let's call it that. So, and that's the good thing. I mean about swing trading. That's one thing I don't really have an issue with. I will honor my stops. I can't say that I had that problem in the past, but just too many bad lessons, too many bad experiences has taught me that it's that honoring your stops is not an admission of failure. It's just an admission that the setup that you thought was going to work out didn't in that particular instance.
Do you honor your day in terms of your own time? I mean, one of the greatest temptations if you're trading, of course, is to wake up, go to screen and trade all day and, finish and go to bed and sort of forget the fact that actually you need to manage yourself and look after you. So by the sound of it and by the way that you're talking about, it sounds as though you've got process around managing yourself as well, in terms of perhaps having a defined start of your day, that sort of thing. Could you perhaps tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I really do work, and I speak about this in the book too. I really, we strongly believe that you've got to have a work balance. You've got to have a balance in your life, and you've got to have a healthy lifestyle. To be a trader, you have to be physically healthy. And so, yeah, my day. If I was going to sort of summarize a typical day for me would be, get up at quarter to 6-ish my time, which is about 45 minutes before the market opens. And then, sit down, start doing some research, start looking at what stocks are in play because the Bear Bull community is more oriented to day trading. And so Andrew and I will usually moderate. We have a group of traders that do the pre-market, and then Andrew and I will jump on and do the hour and a half open, and then other traders will come in. And so after I do my bit in the morning on the day trading side, I'll go about the regular my day. I'll go down, have some breakfast. If I've got any swing trades on, I'll be keeping an eye on those. And I have some other interests. I actually do a little bit of consulting in the environment field, which is the other sort of profession that I can't work through in my professional career. So I've got a few clients that I still do work for. So I go out and do some work for them, and I'll come back in the afternoon. I'll see how the market closes, see if there's any interesting trades, see what my swing trades are doing. I'm using alerts on my on my phone. So if I get an alert, it might be a stock has met a certain price, so I can sort of keep an eye on things without actually being in front of my screen during the day. And in the evening has been usually a typical time where I'll do some form of exercise if I haven't done anything during the day. So I like to do yoga. I like to go to the gym. I've been playing hockey up till this COVID thing, and that's all aside. I like to go for rides on the bike. I live near a really nice forest. So, I always try to do something physically active during the day, just to keep keep in shape. And then I might come back and do a little bit more homework, a little bit, more some scans, some stuff like that, and then kind of end my day. So like I said, I try to maintain a balance, and you really have to do that to stay healthy, stay mentally healthy as well as physically healthy.
And on that theme of things that can unbalance you, can throw you out, you alluded earlier on to you used a StockTwits site to find some good people that you can engage with, talk to in that space, that come up with good ideas. But you also said there's quite a few twits on there. And this is almost a perennial challenge, another perennial challenge. It's not just one, I think, with trading. We have so many. This idea of people that could be, perhaps toxic's too strong a word, but people that can unbalance you, that can throw you out, or events that can unbalance you and throw you out. I mean, I presume like everyone else, you experience them. How do you deal with that?
I guess I've just been, I can't say that I've seen it all because I've never seen anything like this, but I've been through, ups and downs on, in various markets, obviously, through the financial crisis in 2008 and the dot-com era. And I guess, I can't say it's just me personally, but I don't get emotionally thrown off as much as maybe other people. Maybe it's my experience with all these other sell-offs. and could be partly my personality. I'm a little bit laid back, and sometimes probably could be accused of by number of people. I could be accused of being too laid back. So, but that's really an individual personality thing. You're right. It is. There are some things that can really throw you off, like if you have a series of trades that just don't work out, and you think, you start to question, am I doing things right? And sometimes, there'll be a couple days where I'll just say, okay, I'm just gonna take a break. I'm not gonna take any positions. I'm just gonna watch. That kind of helps sort of settle things out. I've seen lots of day traders that just, they're just having a bad day, and it happens to everybody. People just have to recognize that, and you just need to be able to step away rather than get into this mode of revenge trading where you say, okay, that one didn't work out, I'm going to try this one, and then that one doesn't work out, then I'm going to move on to this one, or I'm just going to hit this one again because I know it's going to turn around. You just need to be able to, at some point, and people, and this is what they have risk managers for at these firms. Unfortunately, if you're an individual trader, you have to be your own risk manager. If you're in a firm, obviously you've got someone looking over your shoulder and tapping you on the shoulder, saying, "Hey, it's time to step out of the ring for a little while. You're coming unhinged." So, yeah, and that's the challenge that people sitting at home have, right? They don't have that person looking over their shoulder.
Yeah, although to be honest, from my experience of working in these firms, the risk managers, none of them would do that with traders. And if they had done, they may have had a right-hander coming their way. It's almost like the theory, but it's not the practice.
Yeah.
And usually their risk would be, in other words, the first line of defense was always the trader themselves. And the risk manager was always a distant second line of defense.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it depends on the prop firm. I get the feeling, some prop firms are a little different than others, and I think they give their risk managers a little bit more, so let's call it authority, or and I think the traders probably, they probably in retrospect appreciate that. I know, people are always looking for mentors in our community. Unfortunately, that takes up an awful lot of time. But it really helps to have somebody, a second opinion, someone who's not emotionally connected to your, to your trades, like you become when you start trading. You become somewhat emotionally invested, and you've really got to recognize that, and maybe help you get over that emotional connection.
It's interesting hearing you, because as I'm talking to you, and as I'm seeing you, people are probably not aware, but we can see each other, although we're not recording the video. You do strike me as someone who's quite laid back, quite calm. You alluded to personality before. I do a lot of personality assessment in my work with traders. And it is fascinating what you said before about day traders being a certain personality type. I've exactly found that when I've identified the personality, that they are very intense. They're able to feel the market more than they're able to almost judge it. And that gives them some sort of an edge that other people don't have. Almost like a real intuition that something is about to happen.
Yeah.
Almost it's not in the price action yet. And obviously when they've been doing that a long time. But people such as yourself, who I would recognize as a much calmer personality, that more slightly distance personality, that they're able often, I say, to be able to see the whole matrix, but not to feel that close intensity in the market. And that's almost the edge you have, or the edge that type has, that ability to step back and be slightly distanced, which others can't do that.
Yeah. No, it's funny when you mention that, because even in the room where we've got a community of about 1,000 people who come into the room, there's definitely in our community, there's people that gravitate to one particular trader. Andrew's obviously someone that a lot of people come in to watch and try to figure out how he's doing it so that they can do the same thing. And they watch him, and then there'll be other people that'll say, oh, I really like Brian's style. It's more, it's a little more laid back, a little more mellow than say Andrew, but it's not the one's right and one's wrong. It's just, it's just personality. You just, it's the way people are, you get along better with someone, someone here versus someone over there. You just gravitate and feel a better connection with some people versus others. So yeah, we definitely noticed that in the room too, that people do tend to feel comfortable with one particular trader and their approach and style. So, but yeah, I'm definitely known as the more laid back one compared to Andrew.
Certainly from the work I've been doing in terms of developing the sort of inner game, it becomes very, very clear that these things are visible. So it's almost like an aura that people carry. They carry themselves very, very differently. They portray a degree of positivity that other people can connect to and feel that if they connect, they're going to get wisdom and they're going to get listened to and they're going to get attention and they're going to get value. And that's a very, very powerful thing. And of course, you do see it in some of the bigger trading rooms where often the quiet guy that carries himself well, that's not loud but very attentive, is very, very often the best trader of the pack. And it's those that are a little bit too loud, that actually that don't have self-control, that perhaps don't have the inner sort of self-management going on. And of course, through your yoga practice, you'd be accessing a deeper level of self-management than just purely doing the exercise. So I think these things are very, very visible. And of course, from a person point of view, that also helps you access a different type of intuition yourself. So, you tend to, ideas tend to gravitate towards you, creativity and thinking about things that might be of interest probably comes quite naturally to you.
Yeah. Well, yeah, certainly with my other work, the corporate job I did was, it was very entrepreneurial and sort of thinking outside the box and discovering a lot of different industries, which gave me, over the years, gave me a lot of insight into how other businesses work. It just was, there were things about the corporate life that I really didn't like, but I was quite fortunate in having a lot of opportunities in the corporate life. I think that maybe even other people didn't have because of the job I had. So, and that's just my nature. I'm very inquisitive. I'm always looking. I'm always, I spend a fair amount of time reading articles. I subscribe to a bunch of newsletters I'm always looking at different people's perspective on things and what they're thinking. And and at the same time, I'm always aware that that all these things I'm reading are just people's theories, if you want to call them that, or ideas. And I've got to sort of assimilate everything and try to figure out, does that make sense to me, and how does that fit in the big picture of everything else that I'm hearing and learning. So yeah, I just enjoy just hearing other people's opinions and trying to figure out where things are going from there.
So there's a curiosity going on there. There seems to be a lot of curiosity. Okay. I'm conscious of the time and that we probably should start wrapping up in the next few minutes. This is coming out of the blue. What 3 things do you know now as a trader do you wish you'd known, say, 20 years ago?
Well, the first one's easy. It's risk management. That 20 years ago was sometime around the .com And and the reason I lost everything was that I'd gained was I just I got into this mindset that nothing ever goes up, and I really wasn't trading with a plan. Every day was just buy something that was hot, and it would go up more, and but then when things turned around, I just didn't have the sense to say this is and I didn't just have the, I guess, maturity to recognize that things had changed. The market had changed, the whole psychology had changed, and that's, I guess, one of the things that I probably could have kept a lot of the money that I made then if I'd have really been trading with a plan and been more in tune with what was going on in the market. And I think I was like a lot of people. I made a lot of money and then gave it all back. Yeah, it was a crazy time, but that was that was something that really kind of stuck with me after giving all that money back. It was a hard lesson, but again, I came out of it no worse off anyway. Other people lost their homes and families, and some even took their lives. I mean, I can't imagine that, but it was sad. And so, yeah, I guess that would be probably, if I could go back to that era, that would be something that that I've learned over the years is managing your risk, honoring your stops, and keeping a close eye on what the psychology of the market is, and when things turn, you've got to adapt. I think that's three. Yeah, I think it's having a trading plan, and follow on that would be honor your stops, and just keep your thumb on the pulse of the market, and what everybody else is doing and what everybody else is thinking.
Okay, and perhaps a little bit more in Mark's area, sort of focusing on the self and well-being. We're obviously in a very challenging period at the moment. It's been an incredibly volatile couple of months. We've got worries outside of just the work that we do. So what's your view on the world we've moved into in 2020? And
yeah, it's a very interesting time. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a time where I've seen the government so actively involved in propping things up. Because, it was, I've kind of been saying this in the room, it's almost like we're living in a bizarro world where, where I think it was Cat, reported just recently, Caterpillar, they missed on the top and bottom line, and and the stock was trading up the next morning. I mean, I don't know what world we're living in the end guidance. I think they pulled guidance, so I just thought, well, that's kind of weird, but I guess it isn't weird in the context that the Fed in the U.S. and other governments have said they'll basically buy anything that needs supporting. So it is a very strange time. And then everybody and their dog was looking at this bounce and saying, okay, I'm just going to wait till we get this second pullback. Which of course hasn't happened yet. Yeah, it's a very interesting time, and of course I know a number of people that took bets that the SPY was going to drop again, and they were buying using options, and they lost a lot of money by just buying a bunch of options. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's a weird time. There's a lot of things that have changed. As we're on this video conference call now. Going forward, I'm wondering, whether companies are going to adapt this, even if we had a vaccine tomorrow. I mean, profits are going to be challenged. Why not? Why not have your workforce work from home? Reduce your overhead by less commercial space, less travel for sure. The airlines, it's only, I think business is only about 12 or 13% of the airline business, but it's a very profitable part of their business. Their business traveler subsidizes a lot of the people that travel in the back. So, airlines are going to be challenged, conferences where hotels depend on and business travel are going to be challenged. There's going to be a lot of businesses that are going to be challenged for a number of years. And I don't think, some of these businesses are going to be struggling for many years with this, what I call it, new way of doing business, if you want to call it that. So, but certainly technology, anything that has to do, like Microsoft, great growth in some of their team, remote working stuff, great growth in that area, and I think it's just that's gonna continue for sure. So there are some positives, but
it's a difficult space for anyone that's a trader because you just don't know the extent of what's going to happen next. One of the things I always like to share with people is that we very often ask each other, how are you? How are you today? But we very rarely turn that question around to ourselves and say, how am I? And actually, as a trader, we need to pay attention of just checking in on ourselves, perhaps more regularly than usual, and just make sure that you are getting the breaks, that you are hydrated, that you're not drinking too much coffee.
Yeah.
All of these things act against you.
Yeah.
And actually, if you're stressed, drinking coffee is the worst thing because you'll become even more stressed. And when you're stressed, you'll make tough trading decisions, or wrong trading decisions, or sort of heat of the moment. And they're not, in this market, decisions that you should be making. That what you mentioned earlier about this being measured and having balance and appropriate curiosity and being well read and knowing when to trade and when not to trade are all critical things in the whole sort of world of trading.
Absolutely.
But never forget yourself, the need to sleep, the need to switch off, the need to perhaps put some definition around what your day actually is, to be able to step away at some point,
Yeah, exactly. And you just need to develop, as we've all had to do, we've just needed to develop new routines, and we just need to make sure those routines maintain your health and your not just your physical health, but your mental health, and just come up with new strategies. That's it's just like trading. You've got to continually adapt. Markets are changing all the time. You've got to continue to adapt your strategies. I'm not doing a lot of bottoming scans right now because nothing. 100,000 of stocks come up when I run my bottoming scan. So I've got to come up with other strategies to find swing trades. So yeah, it's all about adapting, and that's just your personal life as well as how you're trading the market.
Is that? I mean, that's an interesting point, and I think whether that's the benefit of experience or not, adaptability and the need to adapt and adjust. I could certainly go back to when I was young, and think that I probably would project the type of market we would have as being pretty much permanent. But as you get older, the adapters survive almost.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, that's the one thing I guess that one of the many things that I've learned over the years is that you can't always just depend on one strategy, and that's where you're constantly reading, constantly looking at social media, seeing what other people are doing, and you're basically trying to continually adapt your strategies to what's working, and abandoning the strategies that are, for the time being, that aren't working. Like I'm not finding the swing trades that I was doing a year ago are not they're not similar to what I'm doing right now. So you just like I said, you got to find what's working and use that.
No, I think that's great advice, and it's something I'm hoping some of the younger traders who are listening to this maybe are picking up on. But Mark, is there anything you'd like to sort of bring in around?
No, I think I think we're delighted that Brian's able to join us today. I think it's very timely to talk about this this need for balance and sticking to a plan. It's just so important, because the temptation is to divert away from plan, and that leads to all sorts of things, and that's life plan as well as trading plan, incidentally. don't forget your own personal plan as part of it. But I think again we're delighted that you're building community as well, Brian, and what you're doing with the guys in the community with your forum, I think is just so admirable. But I can tell from just by meeting you in an e-way that you do have a certain aura, and that aura brings people together, and that is just so needed. So I think the community must be delighted with the work you're doing. But we wish you well. We thank you and wish you well from wonderful Vancouver. And Steve, is there anything else you want to follow on from there?
Well, I just guess I want to ask Brian just to give himself a little plug. Again, what's the name of your book? And are there any other sites where people could connect to you? And also, of course, give Bearball Traders a bit of a plug here.
Yeah, of course. My book's on Amazon. It's called How to Swing Trade by Brian Pezim. It's pretty easy to find. And we're in the Bearball trading room. We do actually do a pre-market session that's live on YouTube. So if you're so inclined to day trade in the U.S. markets, and you want to see the process that we go through in the morning before the markets open, just looking at stocks in play, you can join us on YouTube. It's free, obviously. I believe just because of just recently with the virus and everyone being in, we're also doing a closing bell session. So I'll be getting onto that here shortly, and that is also live on YouTube. So we will be talking about about the last 45 minutes, a half hour of trading as well. So if you want to join us live on YouTube, again, there we'll be doing the close. And sometimes I'll in the last couple of days, I've come up with some trading ideas for swinging overnight. Again, I'm not an investment advisor. I'm not advising people to take trades, but if they look interesting and they fit your risk criteria and all the rest of that, it's some trades to consider sometimes. So, but it was great to have the opportunity to chat with you guys for an hour and meet some friends over the pond, as they say.
There you go.
Thank you so much, Brian. Thank you for your time today.
Yeah, for sure. Stay well, stay safe. All the best.
Great. Yeah, great to meet you guys. Hopefully we'll meet again.
Thank you for listening today. We hope you enjoyed the podcast. If you have been enjoying the Afromind podcast series, we would be delighted if you could rate and review the show on iTunes or whichever podcast service you use. Ratings and reviews help us grow our audience, which in turn enables us to keep bringing you outstanding guests for your education and pleasure. Also, be sure to subscribe or follow the Afromind podcast on whichever podcast service you use, so as to make sure you do not miss future episodes. Thank you to our podcast partner, the Society of Technical Analysts, the STA. You can learn more about their service, becoming a member, and their outstanding technical analysis home study course on the STA website, sta-uk.org. Afromind is a joint collaboration between Mark Randall and myself, Stephen Goldstein. To know more about us, visit our website, alpha-mind.net, or go to the Afromind blog, afromindblog.blogspot.com. There you can subscribe to our new newsletter. You can also follow us on social media. My Twitter handle is @Afromind101, and Mark's Twitter handle is @Afromind102. Or connect with us on LinkedIn and join our Afromind LinkedIn group. Thank you once again for listening, and we hope you have a great week.